Top Cut. Welcome to Top Cut. Quarterfinal round. We have our top 8 ready. One person bubbled out. Unfortunate. But we have our first quarterfinal matchup, the one we'll show on stream. It is Michael Wagner and Mario Bahena. Interestingly, Michael the higher seed in this, the 3 seed against Mario's 6 seed. But Mario beat Michael. Michael's only lost 4-1 in Swiss. So this will be an interesting one. Mario, we saw him on stream in round number 1. It's the Regidrago, Tornadus, Therian, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Giraffe, Ogerpon Hearthflame, and Zacian. On Michael's side, it is the Chien-Pao, Fluttermane, Rillaboom, Landorus Incarnate, the Ditto, and the Zamazenta.
You know, this match reminds me of the meme. Inside you there are 2 wolves. One is Zacian, one is Zamazenta. No, but, you know, I think there's one thing with Mario's team. As someone who's played Zamazenta really kind of a lot recently, that Ogerpon Hearthflame is not fun. It is very scary, especially when partnered with something as fast and as threatening as Zacian, which has Terra at last round. It's not a good combo. And I think that if you're Michael, you do realize that if it goes around that, obviously Chien-Pao helps quite a bit. It's a requirement, I think. I think also bringing in the Ditto super nice, because you could just essentially get a +2 Zacian to the +1 Zacian, which is very nice if you have some sort of speed control. So yeah. I would say lose the Lando and Rilla here. I don't think they're going to provide too much boost, which is kind of tough because you do need to at least be able to take out this banded Urshifu.
Yeah, it feels bad not having Landorus, especially if you're worried about Ogerpon, but...
although I do think Ogerpon, it's still, you lose the one-on-one against Ogerpon, and if it's faster, not you win it, but still, it's not, they're both pretty equal to each other. You could swap out the Ditto for Rilla.
Gotta hit it really hard.
Yeah.
Here we go. It's Rayquaza versus Ogerpon, apparently. The trainer portraits. We'll lead the Rillaboom Chien-Pao. Sort of priority duo. And then Tornadus Urshifu on the other end.
That is...
I like what Michael ended up with against these two, because it makes this first turn very awkward for Urshifu, knowing that it might just have to eat a Grassy Glide.
And you could Terra into Terra Grass, but Fake Out is absolutely in play. And if you do that, Chien-Pao is like, hi, I have Icicle Crash, Tornadus, you're going down. And so that is a big threat right there. So you kind of have to Terra or swap Tornadus. You like to switch to Zacian, but it is still threatening because Chien-Pao is still fastest on the field.
Yeah. And Chien-Pao is still potentially readying up a very strong attack here. There is that Zacian. One of the 2 funny dogs. That also means the Zacian's out pretty quickly, and a Ditto could potentially come in and know where to switch into.
The Ditto does really well into both of the dogs. You get not only that one boost that they already have, but another one, which is a reactivate ability.
Tornadus is gone.
That is a thing. That is what I was warning about. Like, Chien-Pao just likes to see Tornadus on the field. But I believe we did see Tailwind, which is quite useful, especially with this Terra Grass here. I feel like you kind of have to just activate that right away. But it puts your Zacian in a tough spot for the Zamazenta late game.
Yeah, it's just getting into a kind of awkward spot, because you can still Grassy Glide the Urshifu here. Like, there are still a bunch of options for just hitting these things pretty hard. And I mean, Chien-Pao...
a fun play.
Yeah.
Could be you go and use your Ditto to copy into
Yeah, you could also go into Ditto, but I don't know. It's really awkward.
Terra Grass, absolutely needed there.
But it also feels bad to have to defensive Terra your Urshifu just to not get steamrolled at this point.
Assuming Sucker Punch best U-turn up the Urshifu to try and remove it. That's my guess.
Sucker Punch.
Partner with Grassy Glide.
I think that's smart, because, I mean, something's just getting blown up because it is Tailwind, plus, it is just Tailwind, it's a bunch of damage. That did way more damage to Rillaboom than I thought it would.
That's a one-hit KO!
That's a one-hit KO on Rillaboom. That was way more damage than I thought was possible. Surging Strikes is probably going to KO this Chien-Pao, yeah.
It absolutely will.
But at the same time, that does mean that the funny dogs come in.
I'm not sure about this. I think Mario's in
Mario's in a nice spot here, but I do think that you have to be a little bit afraid of because I believe it is the Regidrago in the back that we saw. So you do have to be afraid of the Diddozation still standing when Zamazenta, or when Regidrago comes in. Because if that's the case, then you just lose.
Yeah, Zamazenta coming in here.
Like, this is effectively the final four right now.
I just realized it's double dog time.
Yeah, it's time for both of the legendary dogs to make an appearance.
Look at that. That is so cool.
And it does get the Intrepid Sword boost,
Which
so now it's +2.
I mean, it's interesting because
Question now is how much damage can you take? These are 2 steel types. They'll take Surging Strikes reasonably well.
I mean, I think you go for the body press. Personally, what I think, it's tough because you kind of have to click body press on the Zacian, I'd imagine, and then Playrust's just gonna do an absurd amount. That was a critical hit, though.
That was a crit.
Surging Strikes. Oh, it's gonna be
pick
close.
up the knockout, I think. It's close, actually. It might pick up the knockout.
I think it will.
I think it will actually pick up the knockout. Yeah, Ditto not going to... I think it doesn't copy the HP, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that is correct, yes.
And that's a problem.
Body press, though?
Body press, not going to knock out. I mean, it's decent damage, but now that has already... After what has already transpired on this day, this battle's over.
Yeah, there's no way that Michael can win here. Even through a Protect, Surging Strikes hits and gets rid of it. I mean, you could Terra Dragon and just hope, but it's Surging Strikes with Choice Banner. Yeah, I think there's one thing here that I personally think... again, from playing the Zamazenta, one thing is that Urshifu is one of your biggest weaknesses, just in general. Hitting through Protect with fighting moves is tough, even with your +1 in defense. And then Surging Strikes, yeah, you have the Terra, but yeah, also, and that's going to confirm the game.
Yeah.
But I do think that what you need to do here if you're Michael is save your Flutter Mane, keep Flutter Mane in play, because it's still super fast to the point where, if I'm not mistaken, depending on how easy, you could go for a Thunder Wave right away and just threaten the non-Tornadus mon. In this case, I think that it was the Urshifu lead. So what you could do right away is fake out into the Urshifu, Thunder Wave it, and now you've got a much better position. I think you need some sort of speed control here on Michael's side, and Flutter Mane's the only way to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it was the Zacian, which Zacian can Terra Ground out of it, and that obviously kind of ruins your day, but I don't know, I don't hate what Michael had there, but knowing that the Diddozation was still knocked out in one hit or one Surging Strikes by Urshifu just makes it way more awkward than I had kind of imagined previously, because if it wasn't, then I don't know, it'd be a bit more doable.
I honestly really like the lead of Rilla and Flutterman for Michael, with Chen Pao and Zama in the back. I don't think Ditto is going to necessarily help you here, because I think...
I mean, yeah, it feels great against Zacian, and I mean, it's nice to have that Fairy type against a team with Regidrago, but also I don't know if it's going to be that important to this battle.
I think you just lose.
It's also really nice against Ogrefon. Like, it's unfortunate because a lot of the funniest interactions are between Ditto and some of these Pokemon, but I don't think Ditto is actually going to be very useful here.
No, because like with Ditto, the thing that I think that's why it's not as useful, despite being able to get essentially a +2 Zacian, is you're copying the Pokemon, and you have to deal with a lot of speed ties. But you're also dealing with them without Tailwind, which is something that Mario has.
Yeah.
And so you automatically are at the back foot when using Ditto, no matter what Pokemon you copy. And so I think that is why I would prefer bringing in the Flutter Mane. It also guarantees that you have some sort of fairy coverage for Regidrago, which Regidrago has Terra Blast Ghost, which is good for Flutter Mane, but you could just go for Shadow Ball if you pick that, you know? And there's a bunch of other options at Chen Pao as well. So I feel like the play is to lead Flutter Mane and Rillaboom and start getting your speed control out before the Tornadus is able to start Tailwind sweeping.
And instead we're just going to get the Ditto lead. Ditto will copy the Tornado. Actually, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Ditto might actually be the greatest Pokemon of all time. his Ditto transforms into Tornadus, and now that whole
What was that on speed control?
yeah, that whole Tailwind thing. I mean, what's funny now is that we're in a speed tie between these two Tornaduses. Both have Taunt.
You both got a quick Tailwind, right? There's no way you can.
There's no way that you can gamble this entire game on a Taunt. If you're Mario, you can gamble the entire game on a Taunt 50-50. And if you're Michael, I don't think you can.
I actually think it's fine to go for a taunt. If you're Mario, I don't know, maybe not. It's still fun. I think this is a very interesting position, though. The Zamazenta gets a basically free body press into whatever that first degree slot is.
Yeah.
Oof. Bringing in the Zacian without a Tailwind is going to definitely put Mario on the back foot here.
Yeah. We're going to get presumably get the Tailwind now. We're going to get the Terra immediately out of Michael as well. That's got to be the Zamazenta. Yeah, it is. Not going to be the Terra Ghost Ditto, I'll tell you that much. Not right now.
Do not want to take a body or Surging Strikes so you can return it with a body press, and there's the thing.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that Play Rough is in play. Rough, but I like that one. Sorry, thought it was. Here's the body press. Lots of damage on the Urshifu. Doesn't pick up the knockout. Close combat. Ooh. Not a ton of damage there. Just not a lot. And I feel good for Michael right now.
Yeah, Michael's
crazy. Having a Tornadus now is actually pretty nice because you could just click the.
I think you have a relatively safe play here, right?
You just click the Bleak Wind. That was the move that I was trying to think of. I was looking at Michael's team sheet and I was like, why am I not seeing Tornadus on here? It's because Tornadus isn't on there. It's Ditto.
Like Bleak Wind?
You could just click Bleak Wind and then whatever you want to hit Zacian with, or even switch out the Zamazenta.
I like that. I like the Ditto swap out here.
That's also smart.
Because I'm pretty sure you're able to remove the... I'm pretty confident you're able to remove Zacian here with that body press, and especially seeing the Urshifu switch out. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Only downside, with the Tornadus in play, you have to copy the Tornadus. The good news is the Zacian is absolutely in Sucker Punch range now.
It is, and I think more importantly, you can also bring in a Rillaboom for some of that, but...
You know what would be real fun? Bring out the Rillaboom. Grassy Glide,
and you switch out
POW and get the +2 boosted Zacian.
Yeah. It would be very funny, but no, it's just going to be Ditto back in on the Tornadus.
Which is smart, because now you prevent the opposing Tornadus.
Because now you can taunt the Tornadus, yeah.
One thing interesting, Mario...
Finish off the Zacian.
Mario's not used their Terra yet. Yeah. This is a Terra Dark Tornadus. You might have to use that.
Yeah, this might have to be the time. Because I think if you don't get a Tailwind up, you're, like, super done for.
Especially with your last Mon being Regidrago against an Ice type.
And I mean, you know what for... Well, you actually don't know.
Just don't know the Rillaboom.
You don't know the Rillaboom.
Which is important because it could be... If you have a Flutter Mane in the back, it's not the Rillaboom. Yeah, you don't want to bring out your Regidrago and just get insta-swapped into that and take every bit of Dragon Energy that it's giving out, so... Yeah.
But you can't really...
That's kind of smart there.
Until your Zacian and the opposing until your Zacian and the opposing Flutter Mane are guaranteed out of the way, you can't really use your Terra and get away from the Drago with the opportunity. I don't hate the Bleak Wind here. It does take out Chen Pao's Sash.
I think the play from what I would do, it's a little risky, but I think you gotta protect your Chen Pao and go for a Bleak Wind here. Because you're gonna take a Bleak Wind no matter what, and you need to remove the Zacian so you can reset your own Tailwind if you're Michael. So I think the right play is to go ahead, and there's the confirmation that it's only one turn left. I think what you gotta do is protect Chen Pao and Bleak Wind.
I guess what I'm saying is, I agree with the Bleak Wind, but I think on some level, do you just attack with Chen Pao? Because, like, what's...
I think you need it for the Reggie.
I guess what I'm saying more is, like, what will hit you? If you Bleak Wind and it doesn't miss Zacian, what will hit you this turn? If you, like, Icicle Crash the Tornadus. And obviously there is the chance of missing either of those two moves, but if you don't miss either of those two moves, then you gotta feel pretty good.
That's valid.
They're gonna get a Terra here. It is going to be the Terra. The Terra Dark Tornadus. Interesting. After getting taunted,
I know. I was thinking that should.
I guess it is.
Early.
It does actually mean that you can take out the Chen Pao now, though, because you are not going to drop the Icicle Crash. Probably.
Oh
nope.
no! I don't.
So gonna drop the Icicle Crash and Blake win. Oh, that was a rough turn for Mario.
A 1-2 punch there for Michael.
That did a lot of damage. That did a crazy amount of damage to the Icicle Crash there. Tornadus drops as well, and yeah, that is gonna make things quite a bit more awkward.
This is a
Tailwind drops off. The Tailwind can come right back up.
This is absolutely a protect. I think it's not over.
It's not over. Regidrago can certainly get work done, but it's going to be very awkward for it to do so. And same with Zacian. Although what's actually funny is that if Ditto switches out and switches back in on Zacian, then it walls Regidrago. But I don't know if that's that's actually like manageable.
You have to do that.
It would be really funny, but I don't know if it's actually manageable or if you just want to let these two drop right now, get your protect, and then get your Tailwind up.
It's valid either way.
And then, like, just let your normal Pokemon win it instead of your funny blob, instead of the chair that I'm sitting in.
I actually feel like that would have been a solid play, though. If I'm not, because you don't really need Tailwind, because Zacian and Chen Pao would be the fastest things in the field, so it's valid. I understand the Tailwind, though. It's much better to be safe with it.
Well, and I think you can bring in your Rillaboom here and feel a little bit better about what you have, especially because this is just a full special Regidrago. There's no nothing else on there, no Outrage, no nothing. It's just special, and so the Assault Vest Rillaboom is going to take those hits pretty well.
Yeah, which is super nice. Although I'm wondering what's the right call into Zacian here. Obviously protect.
Fake out turn.
I think are we going to say double protect?
Hold for fake out turn.
Are you going to say double protect here?
Yeah.
Probably. I'm not gonna lie, I don't care for that.
I mean, I think it's a good idea on 2 counts. One being it is the fake out turn, and second being you took Life Orb damage from Regidrago. You actually improve your damage by waiting a turn for healing.
I will say though,
and you're stalling out Tailwind. But again, it's a bad spot for Mario in this game, and I think that you might just lose.
I think Michael's win condition here was to try and. Like, if you're Mario, you need to basically try and be like, okay, this Chen Pao gets one shot at my Regidrago, and if not, I win. So I want to try and put it in, corner it. Kind of play the mind games with the protect and everything. Icicle Crash, it's now knowing that the Regidrago protected, you get a free Icicle Crash, and at that point...
You probably just knock out both these Pokemon right now, knowing that they can't protect again.
Exactly. So I feel like the mind games would have helped Mario there rather than double protect. But it's still a dire position regardless. But I do think, you got a quick Icicle Crash from the Regidrago. The question is, what do you do on the Zacian? I think, personally, you go for a Woodhammer.
Chen Pao goes first, and it absolutely destroys Regidrago with Icicle Crash. I think Grassy Glide, honestly, is... well, I guess it's not necessary for Grassy Glide, because you're actually faster because of Tailwind, and Woodhammer takes out the Zacian. And we go to the third game.
And one more piece of information, this Rillaboom is faster than Zacian.
Under Tailwind, yeah.
Now, the thing with that...
which I think is likely?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's say it's likely.
If it's a little bit of speed investment on Rillaboom, then it outspeeds no matter what. So yes. But, regardless, that might not come into play because the Ditto was the Tornadus, it was not a Tornadus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting the Ditto Tornadus twice... not just once, but twice, was pretty meaningful, and I don't know that Michael is going to be offered the same flexibility in this next game. I do kind of wonder how that's going to go, where is Michael going to try to prioritize getting Tailwind again off of the Ditto? Because if you do that, you're in a pretty good spot, but if you try to do that turn 1 again... you can't necessarily be sure. And this is where, like, really weird mind games come into play, because now we're mind gaming about what order the first 2 Pokemon will come in, let alone, like, setting aside what the first 2 Pokemon are, we're mind gaming what order they come in.
Yeah.
And obviously that can change a little bit if it's just different Pokemon in the lead, but...
I still think, Ditto's just not a bad Because whatever you copy is going to help you. If it's Ogerpon, you get redirection. If it's Urshifu, you get raw power. If it's Tornadus, you get speed control. And if it's Zacian, you get a +2. So I actually really like the lead of Ditto plus Blank. Rillaboom, I think, might be a nice lead to just instantly threaten the Urshifu. The only risk with that is if it's Tornadus, you are both weak to Close Form. Could also lead once again with Zama's or Chenpao. I think Zama's not a bad lead at all. But yeah, this Ditto is just really solid. It's just a question of what is the right partner to lead Ditto with?
Yeah. Alright, I don't have a great answer for you.
Yeah, Ditto's just a tough thing. You can't really theorize against it like you can with other Pokemon.
It's fascinating because it does require a lot more thinking on the fly. Like, I mean, that was a great play by Michael there. He's going with the Ditto and getting the Tailwind multiple times in that last game. And now you get the Urshifu, but you don't get the Choice Band, which is important.
Well, I think there's a really solid play here. It's a little risky, but call this whether or not Spiky Shield is going to happen. You can remove the Ogerpon right away. You switch Ditto into Chenpao and you get an instant knockout on Ogerpon. And then, obviously, Terra Dragon is nice. But probably, I assume this Urshifu, because it's banded and it's going to have two things that can resist it with that Terra Dragon and Zama, you're going to probably want to turn out a close combat to Zama, locks it into a bad spot for the Chenpao, and you can at least, Chenpao goes to Sash, but at least it's there. And I think that could be the play. Could also just Surging Strikes, but you are at risk of this Ogerpon's Horn Leech. It's going to do a decent amount of damage.
You're going to get the Instant Terra for Michael. Turn 1, Instant Terra is probably Zamazenta again. Indeed.
Terra Dragon Zamazenta is just amazing. There is a great Terra for it.
Really nice at dealing with the Urshifu in particular. Gonna get that Follow Me from the Ogerpon, not a Protect, no switches.
Really surprised you didn't see a Horn Leech, actually.
The Aqua Jet here from the... Ooh, the critical hit on the Ogerpon, and we're gonna get the Body Press follow-up. Picks up the knockout. I don't know if that crit on the Aqua Jet was needed, but certainly couldn't have hurt. Just a close combat the other direction. That's just gonna pick up the knockout on the Ditto.
Ooh.
It's not a huge deal.
I still like the idea of swapping it to Chenpao. Yeah, Chenpao goes down to Sash, but at least you keep your Ditto up. But, you know, the one thing that's very good, the Regidrago's not in play. I think that's important, because if Regidrago was allowed in the last month, it would have been really difficult for Michael to handle that without Ditto. Now, I think, because at least we know this, Michael doesn't know this right now, but that is big. That is very big.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to bring in Zacian here, right? Like, you gotta get your... I'm sorry, Tornadus in here. So you gotta get your Tailwind up.
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say, I don't know about Zacian, but Tornadus? Yeah, I'm feeling that. It's gonna be the Rillaboom the other direction for Michael. And keep in mind, the Urshifu is locked into close combat at this point. So it can't hit Surging Strikes. Not that it would want to into either of these two necessarily, but... it is locked into lowering its stats, so something like a Body Press into that slot feels pretty good, because worst case scenario, you hit Zacian for a lot of damage.
Yeah, the hard part is Zacian. This Rillaboom, it does not have High Horse, so I think you're okay to switch Zacian in, because even a Body Press wouldn't do it. Yeah,
it's feeling like this one's going to be a real offensive one. Like, one team is going to have enough Okos to win this.
Yeah. It's going to come down to... now, especially... I do think that's the right Terra there, because you really do not want to take any grass moves.
Yeah, you can't eat Grassy Glide here.
But you're essentially going to take a +1 or +2 Body Press. That's just a lot of damage.
Yeah, there's the fake out on the Urshifu, going to do some solid damage. Tornadus gets Tailwind up, but is it gonna matter? Because we're gonna see Urshifu flinch first, but then we're gonna see the Body Press into the Urshifu. It does pick up the knockout. There goes the Terra.
To be fair, what else are you gonna Terra? I mean, maybe Dark on the Tornadus, but like,
yeah,
late game, I don't know. I still think Terra.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it would... I guess at this point, it's not really necessary to have the Terra Groundization around. So you might as well just have Zacian standard.
Zacian's in a very good spot. I think you go Play Rough into the Zama slot and then Bleakwind. Rilla can't really touch either one of these two, and Zama is a much bigger threat.
Yeah.
And can't really swap out either, so...
yeah, and at this point, you see the route into this for Mario... wherein you probably have to, yeah, Zama will go for the protect there. I think the question is, how much can Rillaboom get done?
Not a lot. Grassy Glide.
Not a lot with Grassy Glide. That's for dang sure.
Nice call from Mario to go ahead for the blade into the Rillaboom. That is almost a one-hit KO.
Rillaboom does take that hit though. Bleak Wind, if it hits.
Pause for effect.
Pause for Bleak Wind. Okay, does hit, and so we're both players down to their last 2 now. And I mean, that was a really good turn for Mario, and that's where I was kind of going with that. Is that if Rillaboom didn't get much done, the other matchup was just going to be the Shen Pao and the Zamazenta against the Tornadus and the Zacian, which goes in the way of the team with the Tailwind, I think.
Yeah, I don't like this. I think you have to click Play Rough right now onto the Zamazenta. It just protected. It is an open target, and is the only thing that
you kind of have to. There's not a whole lot of.
I don't like that protect. I don't like
That's
protect.
A really rough protect, because now, I mean, you do break sashes, but oh whoa, did Zamazenta just double protect?
I think it
was a double protect there.
That was a double protect.
Yeah. Here's Bleak Wind. We'll see if Chen Pao went for an Icicle Crash into the Tornadus. I think it had to have dropped the speed. I guess that doesn't matter that much at this point. Icicle Crash will knock out the Tornadus, and this is not a completely different game, but this is a somewhat different game now.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that double protect.
I think it's still in Mario's favor, because you do have... You assuming Play Rough KOs.
Yeah, if Play Rough doesn't KO, it's over.
If Play Rough doesn't KO, then this gets very difficult for Mario.
If it does, you're banking on Icicle Crash flinches for the rest of the match.
Well, Icicle Crash can't flinch anymore because he's slow. Because he got the speed drop.
Yeah, the speed drop's gonna hurt.
Yeah. Play Rough
does not KO!
But it does drop the attack, but that's not going to matter if it's Body Press, which it is. Body Press doesn't KO, but the Icicle Crash, I think, will. And
Michael Wagner, going to the semifinals, continues his road to defend his championship. Oh my goodness.
That was a close one. That was a real close one. And that was a tough matchup for Michael. I think we kind of played through how that was a difficult matchup as we got through it, but certainly found his outs.
One thing that I really, really like about Zamazenta in general is Chen Pao. It is insane. The amount, just sash on Chen Pao, giving it a little extra bulk to stay up for a few turns, and then Zamazenta just going body press, body press, body press, body press. It's insane amount of damage. It's really hyper offensive. You still have a really tanky Zamazenta, as we saw. Just keep in mind, that Play Rough was +1 from the Zacian, +1 on Zamazenta as well, but had that sort of ruin boost as well, and it still took it.
Yeah.
Insane.
And also Zacian has like a billion base attack and is a gigantic. Anything taking a Play Rough like that from Zacian is ridiculously bulky.
And it just shows
super effective.
Yeah, it just shows you the bulk on Zamazenta, and Zamazenta continues into top 4. Couple more matches.
We'll see Ditto again, maybe. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back with semifinals. Don't go anywhere.